Hi everybody, it's me as always, your host Gambit896, and I'm back with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing All New X-Men Volume 2, Here to Stay. The series is written by Brian Michael Bendis, and on the second volume we have David Marquez and Stuart Immonen on the artwork. And on the inking we have David Marquez doing his own inking, and we also have Wade von Grawbadger as well. And the second volume collects issues 6 through 10 of the All New X-Men series, which is published by Marvel Comics as part of their Marvel Now initiative. If you guys haven't seen my review or my in-depth review of Volume 1, which is Here to Stay / Yesterday's X-Men, I will leave a link somewhere in this video to that review video, which you can go and check out at your own leisure. So the story in Volume 2, Here to Stay, picks up right after the events of the first volume, and we now have a young, untrained Jean Grey finally discovering her telepathic abilities, and she is being mentored by Kitty Pryde, as you can see there. There's Jeannie having a bit of trouble trying to blot out everybody's thoughts that she's hearing. And Kitty is saying, if you focus on me and only me, then you'll be able to essentially blot out everybody else's thoughts, and you'll be able to keep calm and control your telepathy. There's also some really endearing character relationship moments between Kitty and Jean, and also Aurora Monroe or Storm as well. And we also have a young Cyclops who is kind of like Captain America in the respect that he's a young kid who's been pulled out of his own kind of comfort zone, out of his own time period, and he's having to readjust to the now or the present day for the X-Men. And so he goes to a store to buy a map of the US of A, and he questions the store clerk about bottled water, about mobile phones, about the price of the map, which is $5, and then to add insult to injury, we find out that Cyclops has stolen Wolverine's leather jacket and his motorcycle as well, and there's a great verbal confrontation between Wolvie and Cyclops, as he's getting on Wolvie's nerves, as he's already making a nuisance of himself, and and Scott's also reeling from the fact that his older self has killed Charles Xavier. And there's also a brief fight scene between Wolvie and Cyclops, or young Cyclops I should say, as you can see there. And there. I have to say the artwork by both David Marquez and Stuart Immonen is absolutely fantastic. David Marquez, his artwork I first became exposed to on another Brian Michael Bendis title, and that is the Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man series. We also have a young Warren Worthington, or a young Angel, finally meeting the present day version of himself, which leads to some interesting questions which are unfortunately being dodged by the older version of Angel. And we also have Cyclops making some discoveries of his own about the present day and what's gone on between him and Jean Grey. And we also have Scott meeting with Raven Darkholme, aka Mystique, as you can see there. And there's some great dialogue exchanges between the two, and she's trying to essentially play on the younger Scott's emotions and feelings about the present day, and also the present state of the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning, which was formerly the basis for the Xavier School for Higher Learning as well. There's also a great dialogue exchange between Wolverine and young Cyclops, where young Scott says to him, you know, you could easily kill me and both myself and older me will no longer cease to exist and your problem will be solved. You know, and Charles Xavier will never, will never die. But then Wolverine turns around to him and says, yeah, but, I've lived long enough to know that killing somebody is really easy, saving somebody is a lot harder, and it's something that Charles passed on to him, and it's not something that Charles Xavier would want. At the same time, there's some really great dialogue exchanges between Kitty Pryde and young Bobby Drake, who makes for some really great laugh out loud funny humour between Kitty and young Bobby, where Kitty says to Jean, is he always like this? Constantly, yes. Isn't yours? It's odd though that I find mine charming. That is odd, because obviously Kitty and present day Bobby have kind of a thing going on, kind of an off and on again romance, if you will. And there's also a really great team up between both young Angel and present day Angel as they take down some Hydra soldiers who are attacking Avengers Mansion, as you can see there and there. There's also some really great dialogue and generally laugh out loud moments exchange between both young Angel and Odin and present day Angel, where he says, did you Hydra goofballs actually attack the Avengers when they aren't even home? Are you beating up on an empty building? So are you like big gigantic cowards or just completely not lucky or not good at this at all? Okay, see, this is why I'm no good. I don't do trash talking. Help? Hey, the best part of teaming up with ourselves is that there's no way I'm going to let you die. Because if you die, don't I cease to exist or something? Something like that. I'm not good with math, which I thought was generally funny. And then, upon the discovery of the two versions of Angel, we have the Avengers paying a visit to the Jean Grey School. And again, there's some great dialogue exchange between Kitty and present day Bobby, where they are pretty much paraphrasing the conversation that's going on between Hank McCoy or Beast and Captain America. And there's also a really great character defining moment for Jean, where she forcibly stops young Warren from returning home to their own time period, and she says that we voted to stay and we're going to stay until everything has been resolved. And then there's a great line where she says, I can read your minds, stop worrying, I'm in total control. So she's kind of experimenting with her telepathic abilities, but not to everybody's comfort, as is explored in a Danger Room training sequence where we have Sentinels attacking Times Square, as you can see there and there. There's also some great action of the original 5 X-Men coming together as a team to try to take down the Sentinels in the Danger Room, as you can see there and there. And there's some really great dialogue exchanges between Kitty and Jean, where Kitty says, that stuff you pull with Angel, that scares people. If you're going to act that way, don't be surprised when people start threatening you that way. It was the right thing to do at the time. And then Kitty just comes back and says who? And that really kind of puts a dampener on Jean's side of the argument for stopping Angel at the time from from going back to their time period. And then to throw the icing really on the cake and throw a spanner in the works, present day Cyclops shows up with his X-Men. So we have Emma Frost, Magik and Magneto. A lot of people are pretty down on the new costumes, and I don't mind the Cyclops costume or the Magneto one for that matter. Okay, Emma Frost in black kind of looks weird, as she's always been known as the White Queen, but I can take it or leave it, really, to be honest. There's a great moment where Krakoa, the living island, basically swallows present day Cyclops and his X-Men, and Wolverine says, "No, Krakoa, spit him out," and he spits him out onto the lawn, which I thought was pretty funny and a pretty cool character moment for Krakoa, or Krakoa I should say. And there's a great dialogue exchange between the X-Men and Cyclops' X-Team, where Cyclops comes to the school on the proposal of gaining some new students for his own school, where he says the new Xavier school, and everybody's reaction are pretty much, okay, you have the nerve to show up here after everything you've done, and then to throw a spanner in the works and bad taste, you name your new school after your father figure, the man that you've killed. And even Kitty says, "Summers, this is weird even for you," and in terrible taste, which comes from Bobby. And then Wolverine is about to gut Cyclops where he stands, but then Jeannie talks him out of it and says, you know, what good would that do? And Cyclops says, well, you know, you have a choice, you can come with me or you can stay here. And he says, I'll be back later to find out if anybody wants to join me. And so Cyclops does indeed return, and you have the Cuckoos joining Cyclops' Uncanny X-Men, along with a mystery person who we don't find out, or we won't find out until issue 11. But if you're reading Uncanny X-Men, unfortunately that was spoiled for readers of both series, but I'm sure if you Google it and you'll know who switches sides from the good X-Men to Cyclops' team. Brian Michael Bendis is still doing an absolutely stellar, fantastic job on the writing and the storytelling of this series. And as always, something that's synonymous with Bendis is his fantastic dialogue, and he really nails all of the character interactions and the personal relationships between all of the X-Men characters. Like I said, Stuart Immonen and David Marquez's artwork is absolutely fantastic. David Marquez actually does a really great job of colouring his own work, and I wouldn't mind seeing him colour his own work in other books as well, somewhere down the line. And also Wade von Grawbadger, also does a fantastic job. If I had to give the second volume of All New X-Men a rating, I'd give it an absolute 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Bendis, if you're a fan of X-Men, if you're a fan of Marvel, or if you're looking to jump on board the X-Men with Marvel now, then I highly recommend All New X-Men to you guys. That about does it for this review video. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. But as I always say, if you thumbs down the video, please feel free to tell me why in the comment section below, or send me a private message. As always, feel free to leave a comment below. If you're new to my channel and you'd like to see more of my videos, please feel free to subscribe. As always, check out the links below to the YouTube Comic Book Community Facebook page, which will be below in the description. You can also follow me on Twitter and add me on Google Plus if you're interested. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys.